Okay. Oh, go live. Yeah, that button. Okay. I clicked the go live button, so I should be live now. So please confirm. I see we already have a few here. Kevin, Sarah, Helen, Lynn, Kelly, Sylvie, Third West Cork from Ireland, and Luthien. Hi guys. For the first ones to arrive, let me know if you can hear okay, if sound is all right. I had some issues with the mic. Let me know if the sound is good and clear. And image, let me know if that's also good and nice and good and clear before we jump right into it. Sound is good. Thanks, DB from Facebook. Cool. Okay. So, if sound is good, yes. Okay. Thanks, Anne, for confirming as well. All right. Hello and welcome to our second session of Zohar reading for world peace. So those who attended last session hopefully already understand the connection between reading a book and the situation in the world. What triggered us to start this session is the situation in Israel. I'm located in Israel. Our headquarters is also, even though we're set all around the world, the situation in Israel did impact a lot of people, including a lot of teachers in Kabu. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to give the Kabbalistic response. So the Kabbalistic response, it doesn't interfere whatsoever with corporeal actions. So a lot of people are also going and volunteering and doing things. However, the Kabbalistic response is a response that engages with the forces of reality. So maybe I'll give a brief explanation of the connection between reading the Book of Zohar, like reading a book, basically, which sounds weird, how that can influence the situation in the world. So I will give maybe a short explanation, but I do encourage those who didn't have a chance to watch our first session that we held exactly 1 week ago, then have a look at the first 30 minutes of last week's session. And Rachel, if you can post that session in the chats, that would be super. Okay. So please introduce yourselves, say where you're from. I usually don't read all of the introductions, but I will try now, because just the fact that we're all coming together from all around the world, from all ages, genders, nationalities, religions, and we're all wanting, even without exactly understanding how it works or why it works, but just wanting to do something to bring peace in the world, that itself is beautiful. So I'll start with Sonia from Croatia, hello, and David Moses from Ghana, cool, and Polo from Mexico, awesome. And we also have Jason from Chicago, and Clary Bell from Boston, and Julie from Colorado, and Helen from Florida. And who else? And I'm not sure if Sammy is from Hungary. Yeah, Sammy's from Hungary. And Miriam from New Mexico. Awesome. Also, I'm not sure how to say the name. M. Lirab from Mexico. Also cool. And Kevin from from New Jersey. And Monica from Vienna. And Alaska. Hi. And Sarah from Jerusalem, and Third West Cork from Ireland, and Sylvie from Rotterdam. That's awesome. Michael from Bucharest, and Francine from Oregon, from Portland, and Rachel from South USA, and Lynn from Vermont, and Scott from New Mexico. Awesome. Keep writing, even if you're not watching this live now, if you're watching the recording. So write in the chat, in the comments, write. Say hi, say where you're from, introduce yourself if you want. Hannah from Santa Cruz, California. Larry from South Africa. Hey, Larry. Great to have you here. Helen wrote, man, last week was great. Had to come back. Awesome. Helen, good to have you back. Hopefully it will be good as well. And this session isn't good because of some teacher. It's good because we're doing something that has actual impact. So, without further ado, let's jump into a quick introduction. Really, really quick. Just in case you landed from completely unrelated to Kabbalah and this intrigued you, or if you know a little bit but you weren't here last week. Okay, I see some more hellos, just a few more. Polar from Mexico, and Mikey from France, and Karen from Italy, cool, and Arcieli from Mexico, and DB from New Jersey, and Eugene from California. Awesome. Great to have everyone here. I think we covered most of the continents. I didn't see Australia, which is where I'm from originally. Didn't see Antarctica, but I don't expect to see. Other than that, I think we covered everything. Hello, Anne from India. Okay, do we have the link also on Facebook? So they're asking also on Facebook for the link for last week's session. If you can post it there, that would be awesome. There it is. Read my mind. Okay, cool. Enough talk. So again, we're here because we want peace. Peace in the world. Peace in Israel. There's been a very tough situation going on here for years, but not just in Israel, also in Ukraine there's a war going on for a long time, and in many other places. And although this did trigger from the recent events in Israel, but really what we want to do is not to solve a symptom. And how can reading the Zohar, how can that affect world peace? Okay, so I'll just go briefly. It's a recap of last week, but if you didn't watch last week, then I recommend watching the first 30 minutes. Not right now. Now just stick with the recap, and afterwards I do recommend you watch the first 30 minutes of last week's session. Okay, so let's have a look at why reading the Zohar can bring world peace. So I'm going to cut the explanation really short so we can get to it. But the Book of Zohar was written by, you know what? Instead of doing that, I'll show you a video. It's actually a video from a course, Enter the Zohar. And it's an awesome course about the Book of Zohar. It's available on Kabbalah. Maybe Rachel can post a link to the course. It's part of our Kabbalah membership, which you can also get a free trial to. But I just want to show you the clip because it will give us a good introduction to reading the Book of Zohar. It's very dense, so you got to be concentrated. You got to concentrate to be able to kind of follow what's going on there. Let's do it.
Hi everyone, welcome to the virtual video course Enter the Zohar. I'm Wellman, I'll be your professor for the duration. This is not your average course, and this is not your average book. If you're here because you feel, you think, you wish there was something more to life, you're in the right place. If you're starting to sense alienation between you and other people, between you and the environment, within your family, between you and what used to satisfy you, perfect. If you're scared that nobody has a clue about how to handle the floods, the hurricanes, the oil spills, the wars, and the hatred, and on and on and on, that's why we're here. There's a book. It's titled The Book of Radiance. That's in English. In Hebrew, it's called Sefer HaZohar. It's 2,000 years old, and get this. It was written specifically for this time. For the first generation that would one day wake up in a cold sweat and realize that the entire world is connected. We're one living, breathing whole. Pinch yourself. You're alive. You made it. You're a bona fide first-generation member. You made it. It's time to open up this book and shine some of its radiance on the system that's connecting us and how it works. We're not going to need pencils or notebooks, just an open mind. And for those of you fortunate enough to have one, please open up your heart. What is the Book of Zohar? Why is it important to us now? And how is it going to help us? Let's cut to the chase. Here's what we know. For centuries, the Zohar has been considered to be the most important, powerful book of Western mysticism, said to hold the secrets of the universe and all of the heavenly realms. Mapping the worlds of angels and demons and celestial beings, it's filled with fantastical parables, odd references, and strange stories extracted from the Torah, the Bible, on which it comments, pointing to a hidden code, which if properly understood unlocks the secrets of life itself. Yes, a very mysterious work indeed, sure. Because it's mysterious, it's raised suspicions in some who are afraid its content and purpose are far more nefarious. It's the world's first occult conspiracy, a dark cabal.
Hidden instructions on how to control the world, a source of power to the secret societies, the Masons, the Jews, the Vatican, who manipulate political, economic, and social structures, seducing the masses with childish biblical fantasies in order to enslave us so they can keep their royal lifestyles intact and prevent us from accessing the meaning and purpose of life.
So, to some it's a sacred mystical force beyond understanding to be respected and revered, and to others it's a not so understood power to be used by some for their own deepest, darkest aims. They're both right. They both don't understand it, and that's how your brain sees it, because we don't understand anything about how nature works in people. We know a little bit about the laws of quantum physics, astrophysics, biology, geology, but as far as our place goes in the system, our desires, our emotions, our connections, how it works with that, I mean, look at your lives. Look at the world. I don't think so. But both are right to believe it contains something great about the purpose and meaning of our lives, and it's hidden from us. So let's just put all of our assumptions and fears on hold. Let's start from there. Okay, so why Bible stories? And why are those writings the most ingrained cultural influence of the last 3,500 years? The source of the major Western religions, you know, each one thinks the other two have it wrong. Why are most of the world's laws and moral codes built around it? How come following them hasn't made a world that works? I mean, if it doesn't really make sense to us, and it doesn't line up with our modern science, and it isn't working the ways it's supposed to, then why does it capture our imagination with such a deep hold on these feelings of right and reverence and mystery? Why do we think it's about the truth? Because it is, but we're not. Its meaning, though it's precious and transcendent, it's hidden from us by the current state of our own nature, which, by the way, is also hidden from us. Look at it. Biblical influence is so interwoven into the fabric of our world, not depending on whether or not you believe it, not depending on whether or not you believe in God or you don't believe in God, but because its writings actually do clothe some general law of reality that interacts with our desires and our thoughts in some kind of special way. And this interplay has built and operated the human level of existence. Yeah, that's why we see it everywhere. It appears as though it's outside of us, but it's not. The Zohar is a true wonder, and perhaps the world's greatest work of, it has accurate data on physical cosmology and historical forecasts that predate events and discoveries by thousands of years. But its timeless genius is that it's a work not of art, not of science, but of purpose. And our inability to see it for what it is because maybe, just maybe, our idea of what a book is just doesn't apply. Here. There is a great, and as far as we're concerned, totally imperceivable force that makes Kabbalistic books not books at all. They are, and the Zohar is, the actual structure of nature. It's a system of laws that flow down in a chain of cause and effect from a single, simple law in nature in order to direct this world. For the Kabbalists, the people of the book who wrote the Zohar and the Bible on which it comments, the term book. A book refers to the ability to access the mechanism and purpose of being, a method of transforming ourselves to make our nature come into balance with the underlying nature of existence, to penetrate that, to begin to engage in it as though we bend back the book's covers and turn the world inside out so that you and I and the cosmos and the force that connects it all are the words of the book with no covers, and there's nothing outside of the story. Right now, whether we like it or not, we're being pushed by evolutionary forces to enter an interconnected, interdependent world. This is an entirely new level of existence where we have to reach a conscious connection to nature's underlying laws. The Zohar is the exact opposite of our dominant intention and why we want what we want. This is what the Kabbalists identify as corporality, our world, the desire to want for myself more, much more than I want for anyone else. It's what we call egoism. But the why of the spiritual or holy books, the very thought they were constructed from, is the inverse quality, the will to bestow unconditionally, without a shred of self-consideration, real loving, pure giving. We need that answer now, and it gives it to us from the point of view of what we're going to be, rather than from what we've been, in a language that seems puzzling and ancient, but really it's the expression of a future that we can't perceive, because right now, for the time being, we're nothing like it. What it has to give us is meant for everyone, but you can't just jump in and read it. Its language doesn't come from the mind, and it's not made for the mind. It's made to be realized by a great desire and a passionate heart. It's like the heart of a child when he first discovers this world. He's soaking up everything. He's feeling opposite forces that compel him to grow. He feels hot, he feels cold, he feels light, he feels dark, pleasure and pain, a relentless desire to try again. He plays and he mimics until he reaches that balance, not in his intellect. I mean, what mind does a baby use when he learns to walk? Considering that we're inwardly opposed to it, we don't know how it works or how to live it, we need a method of growing into this beautiful but seemingly impossible future of perfection the Zohar is putting us in touch with. Yeah. Zohar equals the complete, unified system of connections governed by a single, all-encompassing law, which is opposite to my nature. Equals nothing is excluded from the system or external to it. Equals the story is life with no end. Equals demanding to be changed by the intention behind everything in the system. Equals a means of becoming inwardly identical to the single governing law of love. Equals the creation of a real world that works inside and out. Simple, right? With the spirit of high adventure, anything is. It's going to take a bit of preparation, experiencing some new perceptions, unlearning some old ones, and seeing for yourself bit by bit what's what. And that will point you to the right attitude. And once you've got that, you can enter the Zohar. And that's precisely what this video series is going to help you do. Don't worry, you're not going to need to study, but you've got to learn. Our next class will be above time and space. We'll see you there when you have the desire. See you then. Oh, the left and right doors are locked. You'll have to take the middle.
Okay, so the left and right doors are locked. You have to take the middle. That's a Kabbalistic joke, because the middle is the middle line that we need to advance to. Okay, so let's add to that a tiny explanation, a bit of why the actual reading. That was kind of good background. You can check out the whole course on Kabbalah. The link was posted a few messages up and in the description. But let's have a look for a sec at, not a black screen, at this screen. Okay, so the Book of Zohar, as you already understood, is not a regular book. It was a book written by 10 Kabbalists, led by Rabbi Shimon, Rashbi, you might have heard of him. And they wrote the book from a certain connection between each other. That connection was a connection that resembled forces in the spiritual world. That's the connection they wrote from, and it resembled forces that were already connected and perfected in the spiritual reality. It's actually a collective soul called the soul of Adam Harishon. So that's a collective soul. It's a place in reality before time and space. So here we're talking about this world, and here we're talking about spiritual world. And this world is before time and space. It's above time and space. So the soul of Adam Harishon is a perfect structure which has been shattered, and this shattering is what we see today. So our world, in fact, is the shattering of a perfect state. That's our world. falling from the Garden of Eden and all those allegories in the Bible, they're referring only to that, to the shattering of the collective soul, the soul of Adam Harishon. So, the Book of Zohar was written from a state of connection by Kabbalists who attained this state of the soul of Adam Harishon and wrote from connection to the spiritual reality. Okay, let's say you buy all of that. Okay, so how does reading it now affect it? Because when we read it, so this is say you and you and me. When we read it together, all of us, and we're reading the Zohar, and we want to connect same as the Kabbalists did. We want to be connected, one, to each other, two, to the spiritual reality from which the book was written from. The outcome of that is a very special flow of light. It's called the light that returns to good, or the light that reforms, it's sometimes called. And this light flows through our efforts to do two things, which I just said. You remember what they were, these two things? Okay, I'll give you 5 seconds to remember what they were. 1, connect. In the same way the Kabbalists who wrote the Zohar connected, to be similar to this connection. And 2, to want to connect to the text from where the text was written from. The words don't talk about our reality or about our world. The words talk only about the spiritual realm, nothing more, nothing less. So that recap took a little longer than I expected, but that's fine, and I'll take this as an opportunity to have a quick look at the chats and see what's going on there. Okay, let's read Zohar. So we're ready to read. Let's choose something to read, and that's going to be from here. So this is the world's biggest Kabbalah library resources. Of all forms, media, written, etc. It's Kabbalamedia.info, and this is it. So you can find here a whole heaps, thousands, hundreds of thousands of hours of videos on Kabbalah by Kabbalist Dr. Michael Lightman, and a whole variety of Kabbalistic texts which you can find for free. And here we're looking at assorted excerpts from the Book of Zohar. So let's choose one. How about all the prayers of the world? Let's try that, and let's read it. Okay. Let's see, maybe we can make it a bit bigger. Okay, there we go. No, that's a bit too much to the side. Wait a minute, let me fix that. Let's see. Oopsie daisies. Okay. Right, something's not right here. Okay, that should be enough. Okay, you can still see it. It's a bit to the side of the screen, but that'll work for now. Okay, so let's read the Zohar. Let's intend to be connected wherever we are. All the students that are connected now on all social media channels, regardless if you're watching it live or the recording, let's connect to each other and to that force, to that spiritual state Kabbalist wrote from. And based on last week's session, I heard most of you did like reading it with the background music, that it helps you concentrate, so we'll do that again today. I did test with the volumes. If it's too loud or too soft, the music in the background, please write so I can adjust it. Okay. So we're reading from all the prayers of the world. Excerpts from Zohar for All. Excerpt 1. Zohar for All, Truma. If you ask, ask. If you make your requests before the king in prayer, ask. Pray and ask your requests and return to your master. Come as one who invites, greeting his sons and having mercy on them. So is the Creator. In the morning and also at night, he calls out and says, Come. Happy are the holy nation whose master seeks them and calls for them to bring them near him. 2. One should always praise one's master, and then pray his prayer. One whose heart is pure and wishes to pray his prayer, or is in trouble and cannot praise his master, what is he? Even though he cannot aim the heart and will, why should he diminish his master's praise? Rather, he will praise his master even though he cannot aim, and then he shall pray his prayer. 3. The Creator desires the prayer of the righteous. When they ask before him for their needs, and what is the reason? It is so that an ointment of holiness would grow and proliferate through the prayer of the righteous for anyone in need. For the righteous open the upper hose with their prayer. And then even those who are unworthy of being granted are granted. Yeah, thank you, Anima, for the heart. Maybe it's a good time to click the heart, to click the like, to click the share, so more people can join us now in this reading where we're connecting to hidden forces in reality, which are the solution to every form of pain that exists in our world. All wars, all pain, all suffering, it's simply a result of our shattering. And reading the Book of Zohar is a means to connect to the forces, the root cause of everything in this world. So let's do that. Let's keep going. 4. Right, let's maybe change the pace of the music a bit. Okay. One should pray before the Creator, which is one great work, more honored than the work of his master. There is the work of the Creator, that is, in the work of the body, meaning the mitzvot that depend on an act. And there is the work of the Creator, that is more internal work, which is the most important, meaning mitzvot that depend on speech and on the will of the heart. A man's prayer is the work of the Ruach, the spirit. Work from Bchina Bet, which depends on the speech. It is in high secrets, and people do not know that a man's prayer breaches airs and breaches firmaments, opens doors and rises up. Okay, 5. Let's read 5 and then let's choose for maybe another topic. All right. Anyone who covers his sins and does not acknowledge them before the Holy King to ask for mercy for them is not permitted to open the door of repentance, since it is covered from him. But if he details them before the Creator has mercy on him, and the rachamim, the mercy, prevails over the din, the judgment. It is even more so if he cries, since he opens all the hidden doors, and his prayer is accepted. Hence, the confession of his sins is the glory of the king, to make rachamim, mercy, prevail over the din, the judgment. Okay, let's have a look here. Let's go to love. Let's read excerpts from the Zohar about love. Yes, Kevin, I agree. What a beautiful state we've created together. I agree. Okay, let's keep going. Okay. So Zohar for all. Selected excerpts about love. We need that. Man should love the Creator because there is no other work before the Creator but love. Anyone who loves him and works with love, the Creator calls him lover. And what is explained that when Kabbalists talk about the Creator, they're referring not to some king sitting in the sky with his beard like we see, on The Simpsons or at school or in the church or in the synagogue. They teach us there's like this entity that's judging us every second, seeing if we're behaving well and then giving us good things, and if not, giving us bad things. No. The Creator is a force of love. The general force of reality, of nature, encompasses everything. It's not a being like we imagine, like we humanize it. It's a force like the law of gravity, except it's not egoistic. It's the opposite. It's completely altruistic. And loving the Creator is loving this force of love, this force of bestowal, this force of nature. That's what it means. Okay. Let's continue. Excerpt number 2. Let me know if the music's too soft or too loud. 2. The complete work that a person needs to worship the Creator is as it is written, and you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your might. He should love the Creator truly with his soul. This is complete love, love of his soul and spirit. As the soul and the spirit clung in a body, and the body loves them, so should one love the Creator and cleave to him, as the love of his soul and spirit. 3. The love for the Creator is interpreted on both sides. There is one who loves him so as to have wealth, long life, sons around him, rule over his enemies. His ways are firm, and thus he loves him. And if it were to the contrary, and the Creator would reverse the fortune upon him with harsh judgment, he would hate him and not love him at all. For this reason, this love is not love that has a foundation. For because the root of his love is based on something. If that something is revoked, the love will be revoked. Complete love is love on both sides, whether in din, judgment, or in chesed, mercy, and successful ways. He will love the Creator even if he takes his soul away from him. This love is complete, for it is on both sides, in chesed and in din. 4. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with both your inclinations, the good inclination and the evil inclination. Everything is needed as one. Okay, the next excerpt we're going to read is very powerful. It refers to how the students of Rashbi, the authors of the Zohar, of the states they experienced when writing the Zohar. They didn't just sit around there and, be lovey-dovey all day. They experienced a lot of ups and downs, spiritual ups and downs, of course. Let's take a look at what the authors, the 10 authors of the Zohar, led by Rabbi Shimon, let's have a look a bit of what they experienced. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brothers to also sit together. These are friends as they sit together, and are not separated from each other. At first, they seem like people at war, wishing to kill one another. Then they return to being in brotherly love. The Creator says about them, behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brothers to also sit together. The word also comes to include the Shekhinah with them. Moreover, the Creator listens to their words, and He has contentment and delights with them. As it is written, then those who feared the Lord spoke to one another, and the Lord listened and heard it, and a book of remembrance was written before Him. And you, the friends who are here, as you were in fondness and love before, henceforth you will also not part until the Creator rejoices with you and summons peace upon you. And by your merit there will be peace in the world. As it is written, for the sake of my brothers and my friends, let me say, let peace be in you. Okay. Let's do one more, and then we'll go back to maybe another topic. Okay. 6. All those friends who do not love each other depart the world before their time. Oh, I can make it bigger. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Alright, so we're reading from here again. All the friends who do not love each other depart the world before their time. All the friends in Rashbi's time had love of soul and love of spirit among them. This is why, in his generation, the secrets of Torah were revealed. Rabbi Shimon would say, all the friends who do not love each other cause themselves to stray from the right path. Moreover, they put a blemish in the Torah, since there is love, brotherhood, and truth in the Torah. Abraham loved Isaac, Isaac loved Abraham, and they were embraced. And they were both gripped, Jacob with love and brotherhood, and were giving their spirits in one another. The friends should be like them and not blemish them. For if love is lacking in them, they will blemish their value above. That is, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, let me know if anyone has any questions about the reading of the Zohar, about this topic in general, about the situation of the world. I'm just looking at the chats. In short, it's possible that you're experiencing all kinds of reactions to the Zohar. Sometimes the reaction can be very emotional, that you feel it like you know how when you smell a familiar smell that you haven't smelt in years. Let's say, I don't know, your grandma's soup, and then years later, 20 years later, you smell a smell that reminds you of that soup. It awakens that whole area in your brain, all of those neurons that are connected to that memory, right? And it reminds you the whole, even, how you were sitting and how you got the soup, and it awakens something inside, right? That sense of smell or any kind of sense. So here, it's actually similar, because we all have that impression of that state of connection. I'm talking about this one here, yeah? This state, the soul of Adam Harishon, it's already became messy, but this state, we were all part of it. This is the collective soul. Everything in reality, not just us, everything, all of existence, all of creation was that collective soul. So when we read the Zohar, and even more so when we read the Zohar together, and even more so when we read the Zohar together with the right intention, it's like grandma's soup. It awakens in us suddenly these records from the very beginning of existence, because that exists within us. It exists in a certain place within us, in a place called a point in the heart. So we're built of a desire which is egoistic. That's what happened in our world, right? So we had, just to maybe do it cleaner, so we had the collective soul, and that shattered. There was a whole process there. I'm not going to go into it, but what remained is 8 billion people in our world today, who all together consist of the collective soul. And those pieces, those shattered pieces, are surrounded by an egoistic shell, right? We all know that shell. We all have it. We all feel it. How we're happier when others have less, and we want to be better. And then there's a whole ego going on there, right? But there's also a point, a spark from this state within each and every one of us, right? Let's do it in yellow. This spark is from this state where we were all connected. That is why when we read it, a lot of times it has this impact on us, like an emotional response that sometimes we can't even explain. Sometimes people burst in tears when reading the Zohar. They don't know why. It's like an emotion just fills them, and it's because it reminds us of where we come from and where we should go back to. So we came from that state of connection, and that is where we need to go. We need to go back to that state of being connected, everything and everyone in reality. And that's the only cause of all wars in the world, of all pain, in fact. The only cause of that is our shattering, the fact that we are broken. And the beautiful thing here is that no one individually is broken. Everyone individually is perfect. The only thing that's broken is our connection. So you don't need to change anything of who you are. You don't need to be something else or someone else. You only need to connect to each other and to that idea, to that thought, to that source. Okay. So with that, let's read a little bit more. This time, let's choose prayer. Selected excerpts from the Zohar on prayer. Okay. Let's maybe soften the music. Okay. 1. What are man? Man is an abbreviation in Hebrew, mem nun, mei nukvin. It's a Kabbalistic phrase. It's not man, it's man. So what, again, 1. What are man? In the craving below, lower waters rise, meaning man, to receive upper waters, mad, from the degree atop them. This is so because lower waters, man, spring out only by an awakening of the desire of the lower one. At that time, the craving of the lower one and the upper one become attached, and lower waters spring out opposite the descending upper waters. The zivug ends and the worlds are blessed. All the candles light up, and the upper ones and lower ones are in blessing. Happy is he who calls on the King and knows how to call on him properly. If he calls and does not know whom he is calling, the Creator moves away from him. As it is written, the Lord is near to all who call him. To whom is he close? He repeats, to all who call him in truth. But is there anyone who would call him falsely? It is one who calls and does not know who he is calling. How do we know? Because it is written, to all who call him in truth. What is in truth? In the seal of the king's ring, the middle line, the seal of the mochin with a malchut, who is called the king's ring. For she is the wholeness of everything. It is written, he gave truth to Jacob, chesed to Abraham. Zer Anpin, the middle line, Jacob, since truth was given to the middle line. Therefore, it is written, to all who call upon him in truth. One who does not know how to call him in the measure of the middle line, but leans to the left line or to the right line. The Creator moves away from him. Happy is he who enters in wisdom and comes out in wholeness, to know the ways of the Creator. Okay. I see some more people have joined us from around the world. So we're reading the Zohar, the most sacred Kabbalistic text of all times, probably, and we're doing it because by this action we want to address the root cause of all pain in the world, of the pain that's taking place now and took place and still in Israel and in Ukraine and in every place in the world that there is suffering. It is a symptom of a broken state, a broken reality. And we're reading the Zohar to try and repair that reality. Not with some mysticism, but because it's connected. These words, they're written and connected to a structure that is above our world, that is above this reality. And by reading it, we want to simply connect to that structure and attract these forces from it. So let's continue reading, and feel free to invite others. You can do that not personally, but just clicking the like button or the share button that automatically signals to social media that you like it, so it offers it to more people. So you can simply click that like button and more people will probably join us, as they have been through this session. Let's continue reading. 3. One should always praise one's master and then pray his prayer. One whose heart is troubled and wishes to pray his prayer, or is in trouble and cannot praise his master, what is he? Even though he cannot aim the heart and will, why should he diminish his master's praise? Rather, he will praise his master even though he cannot aim, and then he shall pray his prayer. It is written, a prayer of David. Hear a just cause, O Lord, hear my singing, listen to my prayer. Hear a just cause, O Lord. First, since he prays his master. Afterwards, hear my singing, listen to my prayer. One who can praise his master and does not do so, it is written about him. Even if you pray, profusely, I do not hear. 4. We should pay attention to faith in the Creator, that all his words are words of truth and great faith. Once he says something, it is done entirely. A man with a narrow heart, if he says that this would be completed in several years, and after so long, so it is. The Creator, according to his governance, and all the worlds are filled with his glory, is all the more so. Man's words are small, and all his words are temporary. So is he, temporary, like a fleeting shadow. However, through repentance and prayer and good deeds with many tears, he is holy. Since the Great One, who is superior to the entire world, shines his light and restricts his holiness for man to do his will. 5. If he set his heart upon man, he will gather his spirit and his breath unto himself. The will and the thought draw the extension and do the deed with everything that is needed. This is why, in prayer, a desire and a thought to aim in are required. Similarly, in all the works of the Creator, the thought and the contemplation does the deed and draw extensions to all that is needed. Let's make a special effort now. We're almost done. Let's make a special effort to concentrate our thoughts and, more importantly, our hearts, to calibrate them to a single beat. There's this phenomena in nature. It's called synchronization. It's pretty cool. My colleague and friend Asaf did a session about it on Kabbalah Explained Simply. I recommend to watch it. Check it out. It's really interesting. And it's basically talking about how things in nature synchronize. So a few cool examples of synchronization is when birds fly together in a murmuration, they synchronize. And when singers together a choir sings, their breath synchronizes. So it all synchronizes. And fireflies synchronize their flashes. And a really beautiful example is a couple, like two people who are connected romantically. If they're close to one another, their heartbeats synchronize. But it's only if they're connected romantically. If not, then the heart does not synchronize. That's really interesting. Scientists don't even know how to explain that. So also now we have the chance to synchronize on a spiritual level. Also our hearts and our intentions and our emotions. But let's synchronize that point in our hearts, that point that comes from that layer in reality, the point that is our common connector. We're not connected through our ego. Our egos do the opposite. They contradict, they're repulsed by one another. What draws us to each other is not the ego, it's this point within it, the point in the heart that strives to reach above the egos. So let's finish this reading. Let's read a little bit more. I appreciate all the hearts. It's nice to see all the hearts. Kind of, there's a graphic there that they all go up there. That's awesome. So let's finish with this synchrony of our hearts, but not of our physical hearts, not of this pump in our chest, but of our spiritual hearts. And with that, we will definitely bring peace to the world, to reality. And actually, the background tune is nice. It's uplifting now. That's a good note to kind of finish on. Anyone who does not know how to establish the praise of his master, it is better for him not to be born, because the prayer must be complete above, out of thought, the will of the heart, the voice, and the word of the mouth, to make wholeness, connection, and unification above. As it is above, and the wholeness comes out from above downwards, so it should be from below upward, properly tying the connection. 7. Indeed, all the prayers in the world, prayers of many, are prayers, but a solitary prayer does not enter before the Holy King unless with great force. This is so because before the prayer enters to be crowned in its place, the Creator watches it, observes it, and observes the sins and merits of that person, which he does not do with the prayer of many, where several of the prayers are not from righteous, and they all enter before the Creator, and he does not notice their iniquities. Okay, so if you want to learn more about the Zohar, then we have a bunch of videos here on YouTube, which Rachel can post in the chats. Or you can just even search Kabbalah Explained Simply Zohar. And they'll probably all come up on YouTube, maybe 3 or 4 sessions about them. We also have our Enter the Zohar course, which you can already see the links in the chat and description. And that will give you a lot of depth and understanding, and also training to how to correctly approach the Book of Zohar and how to make the most out of it. And really, its purpose is one, it was written for our time today, and its purpose is that it's to treat the root cause of all pain in reality, and to bring love and light and peace. So I want to thank all of you who participated together in this session. bringing love and light and peace to all of humanity. We'll see you next week. We'll continue with these sessions. Next week, same time, we'll read the Zohar.